All right. So today I'm going to show you how to spin up an API server rather quickly. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to use a node package that I created myself called Duke API. And to run it, simply npx Duke API. So once it's done downloading what it needs to download, it's going to ask you to name the project. And we're just going to give it a simple name, test. Name of the author is testing. And description is testor. We don't need a GitHub. Boom. So everything is made. And if we just do a quick glance, you see there's a new folder there. So we're going to CD into that new folder. There, and we are going to clear the screen, and then we're going to list everything that's in the folder. And this is your basic skeleton for the API. There's a few things you need to do before it can run. The first thing you need to do is npm install everything. It might take a minute or two on my computer. I don't have the world's fastest computer. And what I'll probably do is edit this load out if it takes too long. Looks like it's going by pretty quick. All right. So now we're done with that. The next thing we want to do is migrate to the run the migrations. I use Connect for migrating stuff. This migration is simply the user database schema. I'm only using SQLite 3 for a development database. There. Now all we have to do is npm run server. And now the server is running. And to show that it is in fact running, I'm going to open a web browser and share that. Let me share the browser screen here. Okay, so it's running on localhost. And I have it, by default, it's set to 3300. There we go. Now, there are endpoints in there, and we could set up a quick user, but to make it easier, I would have to run Postman, or in my case, Insomnia. And let me see if I can get that to come up without too much problems. I guess I should have had this running. But in order to do that, API auth. Register. And this should fail. Especially since I didn't spell that right. Cannot get auth register. Okay. I have my Insomnia booting up here in just a moment. But as you can see, it's clearly running. And it's just a very basic API server. The only thing that you can do with it as is register a new user and password, and then log in that user. And that's all it does. But like I said, it's a skeleton which is simply used to begin developing a database. And now that I have Insomnia up and running, let me go over to there and show you how that works. So we are going to do a post. And we need JSON create. So let's local host 3300 API auth register. And by default, this is just simply username and password. And you can feel free to change that as you see fit, since this is just, like I said, a skeleton. Now, future iterations of this is going to have some middleware set up to where the username and password can be restricted to emails only and a password of 5 or 8 or however many characters you want. This is just your basic setup at the moment. So now we just click send. And there you have it. A basic username and a hashed password, which is stored on the database. And if we duplicate this and go there, and we change this register to log in. Then we send that. There you have it. We've got a token and a welcome message. And just to show that this does will show up an error if you don't get the password right. We'll send that one up again. Invalid credentials. And that's the very basics of what this does. This creates a very simple skeleton. And if I'll show you the files. So upon creation of the skeleton, it creates a new folder called New API Project. The future iterations of this package will allow you to rename the folder to whatever you want when you're actually installing it. And it has everything here, package JSON, a README that doesn't really say anything. Middleware, I have this restricted file. This is for when you want to restrict endpoints to logged in users. Basic, the basic structure I have is the API is where the server is at. Auth is the auth router that has all the logic for the login and registration. Data is where the database, config, the migrations file, and seeds if you need them. And it showed you the middleware. The models is where we keep the data model for the auth router, but you can keep all the model files in here or restructure it however you want. And then routes. This is where all the routers are linked into. And I think I'll open this up and kind of show you how that works. Let me share. So this right here is imported directly into the server.js file in the API folder. And any new routers you create, you just simply put them in here. If you wanted to include middleware, you would just import the middleware and then insert it into your API. And of course, you have your index file, your connects file, which has all the information about your API and how data is handled. A license, I just got it set as a standard MIT license, and that's pretty much it for this particular tool. A very quick and easy database or API server that runs right out of the box. The previous iteration that I had some typos, so I fixed that, and now it runs completely out of the box. First time out, should have no problems. And that's basically it. So let me know in the comments what you think. I know this is very basic, and in the future I intend to make the tool a lot better and more complete. And I will also be including certain tests with the with the skeleton. So thanks for watching.